Welcome back and welcome to another movie reviews videos. I make movie reviews on this channel on a Sunday. They are always spoiler free and I always leave timestamps in the description box below in case you want to scroll through and just look at one of my movie reviews. Last week I did not bring you a movie reviews video because it was that weird time between Christmas and New Year, and so I brought you either my top 10 best or my top 10 least favourite films of the year. I posted those on Saturday and Sunday, so I will leave them up here in case you have missed them. I only have 2 movies to talk about with you today, although I did go to the cinema 3 times, so you know what that means. I did go and do a rewatch. If you have watched my most recent vlog that I posted to kind of wrap up my Vlogmas playlist, you will see that I was already making plans to go and see this movie again once I had seen it for the first and the second time. And that first movie is, of course, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. We went to see this movie on Christmas Day just because that's not something that we've done before, and we just saw it in a regular cinema on Christmas Day. You might remember for the first time for opening night we saw it in IMAX, and so we just went to see it in a regular screen on Christmas Day. It was a full screen, and I would say that in terms of the kind of picture quality, obviously IMAX is going to be slightly larger and slightly sharper, but just seeing it on a regular screen, I don't think you lost a whole lot. I think obviously you're not kind of bombarded with the image the same way as you are when you see it in IMAX. And it was going to see it in a regular screen that convinced us that we needed to go and see it again in the Dolby screen, because in the IMAX and also in the regular screen, we felt like it could have had a little bit more impact with the sound. You know, when that scroll first comes up, when you hear that first bit of music. So we got tickets to go and see it in Dolby. So the second film I saw since I posted my last lot of movie reviews was also Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, but in the Dolby screen. And I kind of regret going to see it in IMAX on opening night. I kind of wish we'd gone and done it in the Dolby screen because the sound in there did have the impact. So if you are considering what format to see this film in, the only one I can't comment on is like 3D. I know they have regular 3D and IMAX 3D, but you know that 3D isn't really my thing. Despite seeing Avengers Endgame on opening night in 3D, because that was the screening that worked best for me, I would recommend seeing this in Dolby. So if it is still playing in Dolby, or if it is coming to Dolby where you are, highly recommend going to either watch or rewatch this one in Dolby. The second time I watched this film, I cried just as many times as the first time. I cried 3 times, both times. The second time, because I knew some of the plot points, I cried in slightly different places, which was interesting. I very much cried at the end all 3 times I saw it, so that kind of gives you an indication of the kind of emotional range of the film. But yeah, in Dolby, this film, the sound was just on point, and the Dolby screen is still a relatively big screen. It's not obviously as big as the IMAX, but it's still bigger than a regular screen. They talk about the fact that, you know, it's super black in there, and you know, there's 2 projectors and what have you, and it really is a good viewing experience. I do like, if possible, to see something in Dolby if it's available in Dolby, but they really did make good use of the sound. I feel like the atmospheric sounds were very much like, oh, are they behind me? Are they over down in the bottom right there? Like, where are they? They make good use of that. And then in Dolby, you know, they also have the speakers underneath the seats, so you kind of get that like rumble seat effect when you have like a big bassy sound. And up until now, the best use of that kind of rumbly bassy sound when I'd been to see a film had been in A Star Is Born, where the like live music, they made really good use of the rumble seats. However, I really feel like that's been knocked off the top spot by Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, because they made excellent use of that in-seat speaker in this film. Even though, just spilled coffee on myself, even though I knew, you know, what was coming, it was still really great seeing it a 3rd time around. And, you know, who knows, I might still go and see it again. But the first film that I watched of the new year was Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and the last film that I watched of 2019 was Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and I'm okay with that. I'm wearing my Darth Vader t-shirt today, so he wasn't in it, but you know. Yeah. So then the second film that I saw in cinemas this week, or the third film, however you want to look at it, was Spies in Disguise, which I kind of, there are obviously, I really want to see Little Women, I really want to see Uncut Gems, I really want to see Richard Jewell, but it was just that thing where they just weren't quite playing at the right time. So Spies in Disguise was playing in the window that I had, and it was definitely on my to watch list. They've been trailering this since I think the start of summer vacation. We've had trailers for this one, and it obviously came out on Christmas Day, so I wouldn't have had opportunity to see it before this week. And it was good. There are so many big voices in this one. I didn't realise that on top of Will Smith and all the other voices we have, all these names escape me right now, of course, as soon as I turn this on to record. There are just, every character has a big voice, including DJ Khaled, which was an interesting choice. And the character that he portrays, you know, looks a little bit like him. He's got a cool hat for all of the film. And this is a film where Karen Gillan gets to use her own voice. Oh my goodness, I've mentioned before how, you know, in Jumanji and in Avengers, she always has this flawless American accent. She actually gets to use her Scottish accent in this film, so that was cool. It was fun. I'm not big into the spy genre, but I do like quality animation, and this was a DreamWorks film, I think. And there is a lot here about kind of being proud of being the person who stands out and not being afraid to be, you know, the weird one, and the use of the term weird. So there's a lot about kind of acceptance and inclusion in here, obviously thrown in around the actual storyline. So there was, you know, some learning experiences here as well. It was very much action-packed. I did laugh out loud. I didn't cry, but I don't think I was ever meant to cry. I don't think there's some sad moments. Little tiny bit of romance in here. And yeah, just kind of a big message of believing in yourself and having your own identity, and not kind of, you know, needing to go with the pack, and really, you know, if you've got an idea for something, really trying hard to make that happen. And I like that message in a film. The animation was good. It was just a nice film to see on a Thursday afternoon when you're, you know, going back to work and what have you. Yeah, just positive. Do I think that you need to see it on the big screen? Not necessarily. I think that this is probably something that you could wait to watch until it comes to streaming or DVD, or however you watch your films at home. But if you are, you know, if your kids are still off on Monday and you're looking for something else to watch, it's a solid choice. It's pretty good, unless you want to take them to see Star Wars in Dolby, because that would be a more solid choice. Yes, so just those two films to talk about. If you wanted to hear my kind of initial review of Star Wars, obviously you can check back to my most recent movie reviews video. I probably left it linked up here. This was more of a comparison review. And yeah, I feel like I didn't have a lot to say about Spies in Disguise, but then that's probably a good thing. If it was really awful or I walked out of it, I would have some more to say. But yeah, as always, if there is a particular movie you want to hear my thoughts on, and report back here next week, let me know in the comments. I do have tickets to see Little Women on Wednesday, so I will be talking about that next week. I feel like I'm the only person that hasn't seen it yet, but I've seen Star Wars 3 times, it's fine. Yeah, as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed so that next week's movie reviews video lands in your subscription feed, and also my bookish content that I am posting in the week. I will be back with more movies for you next Sunday, including Little Women, so I will see you then. Thanks for watching.